security posture in the financial sector with NIST standards-based solutions. I'm Adam Cohn, Senior Director for Global Government Affairs at Splunk, and I will be the moderator for the webinar. Financial sector companies face a challenging environment in which cyber threats are growing in persistence and sophistication. Splunk and other partners have been working with NIST's National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, also known as NCCOE, to address two key challenges in the financial sector: access rights management and IT asset management. In two separate projects, NCCOE developed example solutions to help financial sector organizations to address those challenges. In these example solutions, Splunk Enterprise serves as an operational intelligence platform that collects, stores, and analyzes the data. After listening to this webinar, we hope you will view the NIST practice guides and start using the example solutions. They can be accessed for free on the NCCOE website. Before we get started, I need to cover this housekeeping item. Our legal department requires that we show you this slide on forward-looking statements. In today's session, we are excited to have Harry Perper, NIST's National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, and Girish Bhatt, Director, Security Product Marketing at Splunk. Here's our agenda for today. Harry will provide an overview of NCCOE and the example solutions for access rights management and IT asset management. He will describe the reference architectures and relevant use cases. Girish will then talk about the Splunk platform and describe in more detail how Splunk Enterprise is integrated in the example solutions to provide key analytic and visualization capabilities. We will finish up with some questions for Harry and Girish. If you have any questions during today's presentation, please put them directly into the Q&A widget, and we will try to respond to as many as possible. All lines will remain muted during the presentations. I will answer one common question now. Yes, we will be recording this session, and a link to the recording will be provided by email within a few days of the live event. And finally, there are a couple of polling questions sprinkled throughout our webinar today. We would appreciate hearing from you about any security challenges you're facing, so please keep an eye out for the polling slides and share your experiences with us. With that, Harry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Adam, for that very nice introduction, and thank you, Splunk, for having us here in this conference today. My name is Harry Perper. I'll be talking to you about the NCCOE projects. As Adam has mentioned, we are addressing, in this particular session, we're talking about issues in the financial institutions. However, the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence is addressing cybersecurity issues across all of the critical infrastructure sectors of the economy. Here's our agenda for the NCCOE portion of the webinar. I'll be talking about who the NCCOE is, give you a quick overview, the access rights management, IT asset management project, and then provide some guides and information about how to get involved with the NCCOE projects, where we've published our publications, how to join our community of interest, COI, and participate by providing guidance and recommendations for future projects, as well as comments on our project as it moves through the project process. So the NCCOE mission, our mission is to accelerate the adoption of secure technologies in the critical infrastructure sectors of the U.S. economy. We are also collaborating with technology vendors as well as individuals from organizations in those critical infrastructures to identify critical cybersecurity issues, develop reference architectures and solutions that can be used based on today's technology and that are practical. We are not creating standards. We're applying standards to the current challenges, and we're using best practices, commercially available technologies to solve those challenges. Our goals, three main goals, are providing practical cybersecurity advice to help people secure their data and their digital infrastructure, increase the rate of adoption of secure technologies by using off-the-shelf technologies in our lab to build examples of the practical advice that we're publishing, those examples that are demonstrable, and accelerate innovation among the technology vendors providing cybersecurity solutions in the marketplace. This slide talks about how we engage with industry and the technology vendors. Our first step is to define a problem. In the finance sector, we work with organizations such as FS-ISAC and other associations within the financial sector, as well as individuals from financial sector organizations, to define a problem that we publish. Our next step is to assemble a team. That team there's two teams. There's the community of interest team that helps us ensure that the projects and the solutions that we develop and publish are practical for use in your environment, and as well as the team of technology vendors that will be participating here. We call them collaborators, the collaborator team, and they bring their products and services, Splunk is one of them, into our labs and help us build an example solution of our recommendation. Then we build the solution here in the lab. We document everything we do and create what we call a practice guide, which is the description of what we've built in the lab. It includes architectural descriptions of the theory and strategy for solving the problem. It includes a matrix that maps the cybersecurity framework to NIST 853, other standards, other applicable standards, as well as in the finance sector, the FFIEC CAD tool areas that this project addresses to help organizations understand what part of their cybersecurity program the project can support, as well as their regulatory requirements. And then we advocate, and this is one example of advocating the work that we do here. We go to conferences, speak at conferences, do webinars, and are available to speak to individual organizations as needed. So these are the three projects that are associated with the finance sector. The highlighted ones are the ones that, two of the ones we've completed have SP numbers, Access Rights Management and IT Asset Management. I'm going to talk about those two in detail. And then Privilege Account Management is a project we're just kicking off now. We are in the process of creating that collaboration team of collaborators. And then I've identified some other projects that we've worked on. There's a total of 12 at the center today. These other projects may be of interest to you. Data integrity is about how to recover from knowing that you have a good backup to recover from destructive malware attack. That one was sort of started in the finance sector. So here's the other set of projects that we're working on, as well as those completed. The ones that are completed have SP numbers. The one that we're working on do not. And we are always looking for advice, recommendations, and suggestions for how to do these particular projects, the issues we should take into consideration to ensure that they're applicable, they're practical out there in the real world, as well as suggestions for new projects. So you'll get our contact info here as part of the presentation, and we welcome any comments. Access rights management. Access rights management, SP 1800-9, which is available, all these are available at nccoe.nist.gov, is the most recent project we completed in the finance sector. This project was a collaboration of about 7 vendors, and there's 2 key aspects of identity and access management were addressed here. Automating policy enforcement and improved security of the identity stores or directories. Automation of policy enforcement means that you no longer need humans to enforce policies when individuals are hired, change jobs, or leave. A simple example is changing an AD group membership when a person changes a job. When humans do that, they tend to forget to remove the access that someone no longer needs for their new job. The proposed approach uses automation to accept the change from an HR system and make the changes without further human intervention across all the directories or identity stores across your organization. The project also included a new approach to monitoring those identity stores or directories. We utilized a virtual directory system, which to date we do not know of anyone else who's done this before, to report changes in real time to the SIM. In this case, Splunk was used in this particular project. Now you have an independent second system reporting changes that occur in those directories. The value of this approach is to monitor for account changes that are malicious in nature. We provide these details describing the approach and the queries, including the SIM queries, in the practice guide. So potential outcomes for this particular project, you're going to be able to more quickly identify malicious situations that occur and identify changes that occur in these directories even when they're done by a malicious actor who knows how to block the logs that indicate those changes that you're collecting now in your SIM. It's also going to increase the velocity of changes across your directories because now there is no human between that HR change and the systems that make changes to individual directories. This is a description of sort of the before picture of what typical organizations are doing. There's an HR system, there's emails, phone calls, and so forth going to all the different administrators that administer those directories or identity stores across your organization. This is the architectural diagram for our proposed solution. You'll see at the top right policy management. That is the part of the solution where policies are implemented or created within a workflow system. Policy administration, which is the user interface for manual changes that have to occur to directories from time to time, as well as the interface for the HR system to handle most of the changes that occur. The provisioning system in the middle is the part of the architecture that physically makes changes in those directories. It communicates using secure communications to each one of those directories. And you can see that we used multiple directory types to show that this can work in almost every organization independent of the type of directories or identity stores that you use. The virtual directory behind those directories is keeping a copy and caching what's the contents of each one of those directories and monitoring for changes. All these changes are reported to your SIM or your security monitoring system. We've also included at the bottom there privileged access management. And we did that to sort of point out the importance of that aspect of security or cybersecurity as well, so that you gain control over those administrators that are making the needed changes at the operating system level or application level in those directories. So here's an example of one very simple dashboard that we created to provide an idea of the kind of information that could be collected, correlated, and analyzed by your SIM. In this case, what we've done is we've identified the number of approved versus unapproved changes that were occurring in those directories. As you can imagine, the approved ones are the ones you don't really worry about, but the unapproved ones, some security person needs to understand why that occurred, how it occurred, and make any mitigations or changes to bring those accounts back to where they should be. IT asset management will be the next project we talk about. IT asset management, SP 1800-5. Again, this is all available at nccoe.nist.gov. This project was a collaboration of 10 vendors, and the aspects of IT asset management that were addressed are detecting, managing, and reporting on your IT assets. One important outcome of the proposed approach, is the ability to quickly identify the assets affected or not affected by a newly identified vulnerability. There's a lot more detail included in the publication SP 1800-5 that you'll be interested in. So here's some of the potential outcomes. Really, one of the ways we think about this project, it is a way to provide your security people a list of the things that needs to be done soon. By bringing together the IT asset information about vulnerabilities, physically where they are, their current status, their current configuration. When a change occurs, whether it's an OS update, an application update, or a vulnerability is announced, you can very quickly identify which systems are affected, as well as identify the most critical ones to be addressed first. So here's a before picture of typical IT asset management, where information is collected in silos and monitored by separate individuals. You typically have lots of devices, you lack a consistent set of information, and there's no correlation among events that occur among those silos. This is our proposed approach. We're reusing, you'll see we've reused most of the vendors, all the vendors, or boxes and systems that are collecting data in this new approach. And we've added a SIM, or data collection system, on top, as well as queries and data normalization to allow all that data to be present for any of your administrators now. So your audit team, your security team, and anyone else vulnerability management team can all see the same data. It's all updated simultaneously and is available for them to make better decisions because they have a better understanding of what's happening across your entire organization. You're able to build views that are applicable for each one of those, and so that they can take actions depending on the type of organization that they're participating in. So here's a dashboard describing a couple different ways to look at the data that we're collecting. I sort of think of this as the high-level dashboard showing all the different sets of data that are available and could be used, again, to identify the most critical security updates that need to occur, security changes across your infrastructure that need to occur. Please download our publications. So, again, our practice guide, the NCCOE publishes 1800 series documents. They're all available at nccoe.nist.gov. And the practice guides are broken into 3 volumes. Volume A is designed to be very short for high-level, maybe C-level people in an organization, to give them an idea of our understanding or description of this problem in business terms, as well as try to encourage them to get others in the organization to review the other parts of the publication. Volume B is targeted at the more technical people in the organization and describes the problem in more technical terms, describes the architecture, the approach we took to coming up with that architecture, the security characteristics, and that typically includes the matrix that I referenced before, which maps the CSF framework to NIST standards, other international standards, and in the finance sector, FFIEC guidance. Volume C is a how-to guide, and that describes in great detail how we built the example solution here in the lab. It includes the configurations required for each one of the components, the technologies that was implemented here, as well as the networking that we use to try to emulate a enterprise organization. This is a portion of one of those mappings that we just mentioned, and this is specific to the finance industry. As you can see, we've mapped the cybersecurity framework 853 to FFIEC guidance, both the CAD tool as well as the IT handbook for information security. Again, all of this is available all of this is published in those publications, the practice guides. See, these are the different ways you can reach out to us to get involved. We'd love for you to participate in our community of interest. You can reach us, the team, at financial_nccoe@nist.gov. All this, again, everything is available on our website, nccoe.nist.gov. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Harry. That was great. I particularly liked the examples that you shared. Hello, everyone. I'm Girish Bhatt, part of the security product marketing at Splunk. What I will do next is to share a few examples of how easy it is to gain insights by using NIST standards with analytics-driven solutions such as Splunk. The source of analytics is machine data. The first question everyone asks is, why machine data? Machine data is one of the fastest growing and most valuable segments. Machine data is valuable because it contains a trace, a record of user behavior, which may lead into insight into cybersecurity risks. It provides insight into application behavior, service levels, fraudulent activity, as well as customer experience and a lot more. What Splunk does it makes it possible to collect data, any machine data that's relevant to you from anywhere. We provide a very fast mechanism to search and analyze across all your data. Additionally, we provide analytics rapidly in real time to solve a wide range of security, IT, and business-related use cases. Splunk has more than 14,000 customers using our analytics-driven solutions to solve their security IT use cases at large scale. We have customers who are ingesting machine data up to several petabytes per day as well. Our software is available as on-premises as well as cloud services, and it makes it possible to collect, index, and analyze machine data from a single source to tens of thousands of diverse sources, all in real time. Once data is in Splunk, you can search, analyze, report on, and share insights from your data. The Splunk platform is optimized for real-time, low latency, and interactivity, making it easy to explore, analyze, and visualize your data. The insights gained from machine data support a number of use cases to drive value across your organizations. Now let's look at a couple of examples of those. As Harry mentioned, the Access Rights Management Practice Guide aims to reduce the reliance on manual processes and help eliminate error-prone activities by leveraging the power of analytics. Now, I'll focus on this in the next slide as well.
This example demonstrates ways to link the management of separate access systems into a comprehensive solution using Splunk. The solution focused on automating the provision of user access, such as adds, moves, and changes from a central management system to various directories and access information repositories. At a high level, this implementation used Splunk to provide analytics on authorized and unauthorized access. These analytics was generated by automatically collecting the relevant logs from across all related systems. After aggregating the relevant logs, correlation was performed in the background in real time. The results of the correlation was reported as custom dashboards, various reports, as well as via email. The next steps on alerts triggered, such as what actions to take, were sent via email to the stakeholders tracking these analytics and this project.
In the second example, it involves analytics for IT asset management. When we think about asset management, it's more than just your Windows machines or MacBooks or servers, but it also involves your security endpoints, your directory servers, your physical assets, as well as other software licenses and components as well. In this implementation, the solution focused on collecting this IT and operations data as well as device data and storing it in a security information and event management system for further analysis. With Splunk, you can start off with Splunk Enterprise and Splunk Cloud for your starter SIEM use cases, or you can use Splunk Enterprise Security as an analytics-driven SIEM. Now let's do a quick deep dive into this.
With this implementation, security operations teams now have visibility from across all data sources and security status of each asset. In this implementation, the solution focused on collecting IT operations and device data and storing it in a security information and event management system, commonly called as a SIEM, for analysis. The implementation involved collecting logs from vulnerability scanners, endpoints, intrusion detection systems, physical and IT assets identified on this slide. Once the status of the devices are collected and known, automation of appropriate patches and updates could easily be initiated using Splunk. The reference implementation involved use of asset location, owner information to determine vulnerability of each asset. Each asset was assigned a risk factor weighting and perceived value using the concept of lookup tables in Splunk. Then by used analytics, risk scores are assigned, which can be viewed using Splunk dashboards. Reports on analytics were automatically created for sharing and communication among other stakeholders within the organization.
Do you remember these? These are the dashboards that Harry shared roughly about 10 minutes ago in this session. It's very easy to create and use these analytics dashboards using Splunk. I will share a few key capabilities that makes this happen next. Machine data is the first point where you would start. And why is search relevant? Search is relevant because it provides you the ability to identify and analyze all relevant data within your organization. You can use search to create out-of-the-box visualizations. That is, you can create it automatically for a wide range of analytics that are relevant to your use case. Searching, particularly ad hoc searching, allows you to search all data in one place in real time. The Splunk search interface operates very similar to doing a search on a popular web search engine such as Google. Search across all your machine data actually empowers users to very quickly create pre-existing knowledge bases and creating intelligent analytics. Splunk makes this possible because we offer more than 100 commands, including our automatic anomaly detection and machine learning constructs as well.
Event sampling is another key capability within Splunk. Often, you don't need accelerated data, rather, you just need a sample over time to see a trend. Event sampling makes it faster to characterize very large data sets and focus your investigations. It's an integrated option of search within Splunk, and it's available as a drop-down menu to control sampling across a wide range, say 1 to 10 to 1 to 10,000, or a custom value that may be relevant to your use case. Event sampling makes searches exponentially faster.
At Splunk, we have the concept of schema on the fly. Applying a schema at the last possible moment allows for the greatest flexibility when asking questions of your data to get the right analytics. Splunk automatically extracts the values from the fields in events. If the data source is updated and new fields are added to the format of the events change, Splunk does not need to re-index the data. The end result is the user has a very fast experience of retrieving the analytics.
With Splunk, it's quite easy to enrich raw data to make it more meaningful. Your data, for example, may have a user ID that you want to search on a name. Splunk's lookup capability can enrich the raw data by adding additional fields at search time. Some common use cases including event and error code description fields. As an example, think of using page not found instead of error code 404. Enriching your data can lead to entirely new insight. In the example shown, Splunk took the user ID and looked up the name and role of the user from a human resources database. Similarly, determined the location of the failed login attempt by correlating the IP address. Even though these fields don't exist in the raw data, Splunk allows you to search or pivot on them at any time. Another common use of this capability is to mask data. For example, you may want sensitive and private information such as social security numbers or equivalent in other countries to be replaced with all access for regular users but not masked depending on the use case. Removing data can also be useful, such as filtering PII or personally identifiable information before writing it within Splunk.
At Splunk, we make it really easy to use analytics. As I mentioned earlier, there are different constructs or capabilities within Splunk. One of the constructs is called Pivot. The whole idea here is you can use the Pivot interface, whether you're an experienced or inexperienced user, to quickly generate sophisticated charts, visualizations, and dashboards using simple drag and drop mechanisms. This avoids having to use the very powerful search processing language, which are more advanced and sophisticated users like to use. What's really nice about this is that users can use Pivot to access different chart types from Splunk Toolbox to easily visualize their data in different ways. Reports. Everyone likes reports. Our customers like reports as well. We go in the next step here. Our concept is called dynamic reporting. The whole idea here is you want to create reports that represent results of a search, that is the real-time search results. You can run it on an ad hoc basis, or you can save it as a report to view later. Many of our customers love this capability because it's not a static reporting mechanism where it's pre-structured and provides you little flexibility because it forces you to go down a structured mechanism. Dynamic reporting can be used for unstructured searches where you don't really know what the end result is going to be, but you want to map it and display the results in ways in which it may be relevant to your use case. Again, we provide numerous mechanisms to create custom visualizations. We provide an array of pre-built visualizations, a development framework, and an open library, which makes it easy for a novice user as well as an advanced user to experiment with different visualizations to communicate and provide the right experience depending on the personas and users. Actionable alerting is yet another powerful mechanism within Splunk. When an alert is triggered, it performs what is called as an alert action. It can be a custom alert action, or it can be an existing alert action within Splunk. This action can involve such as sending the alert information to a designated set of email addresses or groups, or the posting of alert information to an RSS feed. Alerts can also be used to run a custom script when they're triggered. You can base these alerts on a wide range of threshold and trend-based scenarios, including brute force firewall attacks, privileged user accesses, as well as system errors.
This slide shows a snapshot of Splunk's security portfolio. As you may have realized by now, analytics is integral to everything we do at Splunk. Splunk security solutions are based on our Splunk core platform, which is available as Splunk Enterprise for on-premises deployment and as Splunk Cloud for customers who desire a SaaS or cloud-based deployment model. These products can pull in data from virtually any source to support multiple use cases. We also offer two premium security solutions, first of which is Splunk Enterprise Security, which is our analytics-driven SIEM, and Splunk User Behavior Analytics, which is our machine learning and data science-based solution for security operations and insider threat detection. Additionally, Splunk and Splunk partners have released more than 1,500 apps and add-ons to extend the use cases and simplify deployment by providing prepackaged content to solve a wide range of use cases.
In summary, we urge you to review the NIST practice guides, which in Splunk's opinion is one of the recommended best practice for how to get started for access rights management and asset management. We have many customers experimenting with different types of standards, and we believe that the NIST provides a more clear and definitive guidelines of how to get started in case you're looking for guidance. If you're an existing Splunk customer, reach out to us. We can help you and guide you the right path of how to get started with regards to adopting these NIST practice guides. And our team has maintained a good set of assets related to how Splunk can be used and adopted by financial services customers. That is, if you're a bank, insurance company, other financial services providers, I encourage you to visit the financial services website to get started to understand how Splunk can help solve your use cases. I often get asked this, how do I get started with Splunk? Actually, you can get started in minutes. There are three quick ways in which you can get started with Splunk for security. One is Go to Splunk.com, sign up for what's called a free Splunk Cloud trial. You can get started in minutes. As soon as you sign up with an email name and your email account, you'll get an email and you can get started. Or if you wish to download the software and play it on your own, you can download Splunk Enterprise as well. The third option we provide is our analytics-driven SIEM. This is a comprehensive security and event management solution. Is also available for a 1-week trial. Again, I encourage you to go to Splunk.com and try it out as well. At this point in time, I'm going to pass it back to our moderator, Adam Cohn, for question and answers.
Thanks, Harry and Girish. As you all have heard, the IT Asset Management System and the Access Rights Management System are powerful example solutions developed through government-industry collaboration. This could play a significant role in helping financial sector companies to improve their cybersecurity posture. We recommend that you view the practice guide documents and start using the example solutions. Splunk and NIST would welcome feedback on the example solutions. And now we're going to move into the Q&A portion of the webinar. So I'll start off with some questions here for Harry and also Girish if he wants to chime in. Can you provide additional examples of how the NIST example solutions could address real-world cybersecurity challenges?
There are multiple use cases in each one of the practice guides that we publish. So I believe that you will find they're there for you to use. Generally, we have published a reference architecture that we think addresses multiple areas within an organization.
Great, thank you. And what is the easiest way to get started with implementing the example solutions? If you're a financial sector company and you view the guides on the NIST website and you want to get started, can you just give a sense for people who are listening what the easiest way is to get started?
I can give you my personal opinion, which is certainly look at volume C to identify the types of resources that you're going to need to do an implementation, whether they are your own or the type or consultants that you might need to for the implementation. You're welcome to contact us. We'll be happy to walk you through any questions you have about the practice guides in any amount of detail that you like. Obviously, we can't go to your office and put our hands on your keyboard, but short of that, we're very happy to help to ensure you understand why we think this is the right approach and how it will help you be more secure.
Thanks, Harry. Go ahead, Girish.
From Splunk's perspective, we make it really easy for someone who's not familiar with Splunk. That is, we offer Splunk solutions, particularly our analytics solutions, freely available to the community. You can go to Splunk.com, and if you so desire, you can use a Splunk cloud-based instance to try out our analytics software for several weeks for free and use the NIST practice guides, which are really best practice guides from our perspective, to start implementing or prototyping the solutions. Additionally, we make available our on-premises software, Splunk Enterprise, that can be downloaded if you may so wish, and start prototyping the solutions as well. Back to you, Adam.
Adam, can I just add one other thing? As Girish was talking, I remembered that we've actually published and provide the queries that we used to develop these dashboards as part of our demonstrations. They're also available both in the practice guide, and we also will provide some files, the files that include the query text.
Okay, thank you. It's good to know. And you touched on this a little bit, both of you, in your previous answers, but if a company decides to try implementing one or both of the example solutions, Does NCCOE and would Splunk provide any kind of support for companies that are trying to use the example solutions in their own organizations?
From the NCCOE perspective, our support has to stop at where we provide background and explanation of what we've published. Beyond that, we cannot provide any additional independent or specific support for an individual organization.
If you're a Splunk customer, reach out to Splunk support team, and we actually would look forward to working with existing customers to help them implement the NCCOE practice guides. If you're new to Splunk, we want to help you as well. Let's reach out to us, because we want to have that community engagement where like-minded organizations, whether you're financial services or others, adopt this practice guide and build out your analytics capabilities to help improve your security posture.
Okay. Question for Harry. Are the NIST publication practice guides available for download, and is there a cost to that?
Thank you, Adam. There is no cost. NIST is a government organization, and all of our tax dollars are paying for the work that we're doing here. So we want everybody to take advantage of it, because we've all helped pay for this. They are available for download at nccoe.nist.gov. In most cases, if you Google NCCOE Access Rights Management or NCCOE ITAM, you're going to be taken directly to those publications.
Okay, thank you. Another question for Harry. Do the NCCOE publications, the ones that we've just talked about for IT asset management and access rights management, do they address the IT security guidance from the Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council, FFIEC?
Yes, they do. In the security characteristics area of Volume B, we map the portions of the cybersecurity framework, the subcategories that we're addressing in each individual practice guide or each solution, to the FFIEC, both the CAD tool and the IT security handbook.
Okay, thank you. And one final question. Can the NCCOE demonstrate the example solutions that they've implemented beyond the slides that you've shown here today?
Yes, we can. There's two kinds of demonstrations. One here in our lab, where we can show you live and do a deep dive into any aspect that you'd like to see. And we're also recording some of those demos so that they'll be more widely available.
So if one of our attendees wants to see a demonstration, they can contact you at the address that you provided earlier, and they might be able to come in person and see the demonstration, or access one of the recordings that you just mentioned?
That's correct. At the financial_NCCOE@nist.gov email will get to the team if they'd like to initiate that. Another way to find out about those is through our community of interest. So if people that want to join the community of interest and participate in helping us identify new projects, helping us ensure that the projects, the designs, the solutions that we're implementing are practical for use there out in the real world, please send an email requesting a participation in the community of interest, and we'll add. What we'll do is what that literally does is add you to our listserv, and you will get monthly or so emails talking about what we're doing, inviting you to our every other month live meeting, where we exchange ideas among the community of interest and give you updates on our projects and future projects. and on the off months, emails go out with a similar kind of information. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate it. And thank you, Girish, for your helpful answers as well. So our time for the webinar has come to an end. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us, and thanks to those of you who provided questions. We will be sending out a recording in the next few days that people can access and review. We hope that you all will try out the example solutions, which, as we mentioned, are available for free on the NCCOE website. And we look forward to seeing you all at other Splunk events in the future.